Hello everyone, welcome back to Fairly Determined FM, welcome back to Lazio. I've just noticed my glasses are filthy. Bear with. Now, last season we finished in 5th, which at the time was enough for the Europa League, but thanks to some coefficient fudgery, I guess, we've somehow snuck into the Champions League instead. So the goal for this season will just be to be a bit competitive in the Champions League and to improve upon our 5th place finish last season. It's not wasting any time, we'll just get straight into it with the transfers. Here's some players who have left the club. First off, Riquelme went to ANKER for £15 million. Victor Guzman went to Bournemouth for £18 million. Alexander Golovin went to Al Ahly for £28.5 million. He had an excellent season for us last season, there's no doubt about it, but he's 34 years old, he's on £125,000 a week, and there was only a year left on his deal. So as far as I'm concerned, £28.5 million, absolute bargain. We raised a little bit of money in the transfer window, and we've spent a little bit of money in the transfer window. Let's take you through the ins as well. Daniel Karabek joins from Slavia Prague for £8.5 million. He's 20 years old. He's a wonder kid right back. He's got very strong tackling, very strong marking. Very excited about him. Theo Guegen from Rennes for £24 million. He's 21 years old. He's a pacey right winger, skillful dribbler, got really good crossing. I've never had this before, but I've snagged a late developer. Vanja Vlahovic, 26 years old, is a late developer. He's got excellent first touch, high stamina, pacey, agile. He can play on either side and in the middle. I'm excited about him for £4 million as well. And I mostly bought him because he's a late developer, and I've never had one before, and I wanted one. Now I've got one. Ricardo Calafiori, he's joined the club on a free transfer. 28 years old, got fantastic mentals, strong tackling, great eye for a pass. It's going to slot into our defence without an issue. And then Connor Winks for £18.75 million from Fulham. 20 years old, he's a physical midfielder. He's another one with a good eye for a pass. He can dribble, got high leadership as well, so he's going to be one of those powerful, strong voices on the pitch. Very excited about him. Now, you'll notice I've not signed a striker. It's because I couldn't actually find one who was much of an improvement on Vicha Domini or Williams, so we're just making do with those two for now. Our season starts at home to Bologna, and Connor Winks coast past 3 players to score his first goal for Lazio in a 3-0 victory. Lazio youth product Jacopo Zapasodi also gets his first senior goal for the club. AC Milan are up next, and an early penalty conceded by Karabek sets up the tone for our first loss of the season. We've got a frankly ridiculous Champions League fixture schedule. We've got Man City, RB Leipzig, Barcelona, and Arsenal. It's bonkers. That's a ridiculous run of games. Maybe we should have gone to the Europa League. In the game against Torino, Connor Winks gets his 3rd goal in as many games, putting us 1 ahead in an eventual 4x win. I didn't write I didn't write the full result in that script. It'll be on screen though. It'll be on screen. On to September, and our league fixtures look kind enough, but we do have Premier League opposition in both Newcastle and Man City in the Champions League, which is going to be very, very tough. Before that though, we make a deadline day deal. I have actually decided to bring in a striker, specifically the striker who won whatever the Serie A Golden Boot Award thing is called. He scored 20 goals last season. Welcome to the club, Jonah Kusi-Aser. He's big, he's strong, and he scores goals. If he can replicate his Fiorentina form for us, he will absolutely be worth the £30 million outlay. Nicolo Ravella and Vanya score the goals in a 2-0 win against Hellas Verona, which feels great because they dicked us twice last year, and now we are the ones doing the dicking. Brianza take an early lead in our next game before 2 goals from Quentin Leonard put us in the lead going into half-time. Kusi-Aser gets his first goal for the club in the second half, and Daniel Williams completes the scoring not long after. Next up is Champions League action, and because I've not yet been in the Champions League in FM24, we're going to sit here and watch the entire intro because I've earned it. Kinda. Or we would watch the whole thing, except when I originally uploaded this video with the Champions League music, YouTube gave me a copyright notice thing and told me that I can't do that. So instead, you've just got this voiceover, and then now it's back to other me from before when I recorded the video bit. The game is a bit bonkers. Newcastle take the lead in the second half, but Winks equalises straight after. Newcastle take the lead again in the 78th minute before we get yet another equaliser in the 90th through Quentin Leonard. But, of course, because we can't have nice things, in the 92nd minute, they grab a late winner. It's a real sucker punch, but it is my fault for not changing the mentality once we'd equalised twice. We dispatched Sassuolo in our next game before facing Man City in the Champions League, which goes about as well as you'd expect it to. I've not beaten City once in FM24, not once. We round off September against Atalanta. Connor Winks opens the scoring before Zapasodi and Casilla add to the goal, securing us a 3-1 victory. That means it's been a clean sweep in the league this month, and that wins me the Manager of the Month award. October rolls around and it starts with a poor 2-2 draw with Udinese. We're much better against Catanzaro though, running out 5-0 winners with another academy graduate, David Mattioli, getting his first senior goal. Right, now it's time for a win in the Champions League. We need a win, and I think against RB Leipzig we could maybe do it. Williams gets us off to a flyer in the 4th minute, and it's the first time we lead a game in the Champions League. It takes a little while, but Ravella eventually doubles our lead in the 86th minute, and it's a game we never really looked like losing. Finally, our first Champions League win is on the board, it's in the books, done. Can't take it away. It's ours. Connor Winks absolutely runs the game against Como. 2 goals and an assist from him in a 6-2 victory. Just want to highlight the first of Connor Winks' goals in this game. He starts this move in their half. He tracks back, tracks that runner, intercepts the pass, and then he's off. And from here, he's got a lot of work to do. But he takes on one, speeds past another one, he's into the box, he cuts inside, bang. What a goal that is. So after a very good couple of months in the league where we only really dropped points against Udinese, we find ourselves sitting in 2nd place. The Champions League has naturally been a bit tougher, especially with the teams we've had to face, but next month we've got Slavia Prague and Shakhtar, 2 teams I think we can go toe-to-toe with. November starts with an offer to extend my contract. They've given me a 4-year extension at 38 grand a week, which I would be an idiot to turn down, so I don't. Connor Winks continues to make me look good opening the scoring against Napoli. AD Bachelor scores his first Lazio goal to put us 2 up, and Daniel Williams rounds off the win late in the second half. There's another 3-0 win in our next game against Slavia Prague. Vanya gets the first, Quentin Leonard returning from injury nets the second, and Luca Pellegrini gets the 3rd and final goal of the game. There's a 2-2 draw with Parma after that. Now I think we would have won this game were it not for Karabek, the absolute pillock, picking up 2 yellow cards in 10 minutes. Our next league game is a poor loss to Fiorentina. The second of their goals in particular is very annoying. Not only was he left unmarked to hit that first volley, but he then had time to collect the loose ball, turn, position, and get the shot away, which is really pissing poor defending. The Champions League game against Shakhtar is fine. We win 5-2, but both of their goals come from poor passing in our defence, and we go from a comfortable 3-0 to a nervy 3-2 before Winks and Leonard secure the win. In our next game, we put 3 past Salernitana and then 4 past Genoa, but after these 2 relatively easy games, we got the start of a mini run of death, playing Barcelona, Roma, Inter, and Juventus. Buckle up. This is probably going to suck. Isaacson puts us into the lead against Barcelona in the 3rd minute. Januzek gets his 2nd of the season to put us 2 up. And from here, I'm a little bit worried because we're 2 up after 10 minutes and it can only get worse, right? That's generally how this scoreline works. Ansu Fati does pull one back for Barcelona, but from here on out, we're absolutely all over them. Isaacson gets his 2nd goal of the game. Daniel Williams scores our 4th, and we go into the break 4-1 up against bloody Barcelona. Casillas makes it 5-1 in the 60th minute before Kylian Fischer, on as a late sub, completes the rout just before the final whistle. It finishes 6-1, and we secure our Champions League playoff spot. Next up is Roma in the derby, and it's not quite as exciting as the Barcelona game. Casillas puts us ahead in the second half, Roma equalised not long after, and that's pretty much it. Inter are up next, and it's an absolutely nothing game. We score an own goal in the 80th minute to put Inter ahead, and then in the 95th minute we nab a late equaliser. Another dull draw. So it's time for Juventus. Again, it's a bit of a quiet game, really. There's a goal from Daniel Williams just before half-time and then one from Kusiaser just after half-time to put us 2-0 up. Juventus don't really turn up, which is fine. We get the 3 points. I'll take that all day long. So that run turned out not to be so bad after all. We thrashed Barca, we drew with Roma and Inter, and then beat Juventus. Not too shabby, we're in 3rd place. Happy New Year. There's no New Year's hangover as we beat Cagliari 4-0 with Vicha Domini finally scoring a goal this season. The good times keep coming with a win against AC Milan. Chotard starts the scoring halfway through the first half. Kusiaser makes it 2-0 before Connor Winks gets us a 3rd. He is bloody amazing. Harvey Elliott gets a late consolation goal, but it's a win for us, and it's a win which sees us pop into 1st place. In the Italian Cup 3rd round, Torino are comfortably dispatched, setting up a tie against, oh joy of joys, AC Milan. Our form is so good at the moment, and we use that form to take Bologna apart in a 4-0 victory. The game against Arsenal ends up being quite tight. After Martinelli and Odegaard put them 2 up, I was worried that we were going to get a thrashing, but a crazy final 10 minutes in which we score 2 and they get a 3rd means it actually ends up being closer than you'd think. I don't think there's any shame in that performance at all. There's no shame in the next performance against Torino in the league, which is another good 4-0 win. And then we sign off our initial Champions League schedule with a good 4-0 win away at Union Berlin. There's another Manager of the Month award for me at the end of January, taking my tally up to 3 for this season, which is not too shabby. Vicha Domini leaves the club, but for an initial £10 million. Now, I'm not really super thrilled about letting go a homegrown striker, but he scored 2 goals in 15 league appearances, which doesn't really cut it for me, so yeah, it was a tough but necessary decision to take. The football in February starts at home to Hellas Verona. Bachelor puts one in off the post to start the scoring before Isaacson and Williams pounce just before half-time. Pellegrini gets himself on the score sheet in the second half, and we run out 4-0 winners. We've drawn Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, which is going to be very, very tough. Before them, though, we've got to get past AC Milan in the quarterfinal of the Cup. Predictably, we're awful. An own goal from Postorino opens the scoring before they go and get 3 more. Guegan and Vanya from the spot keep the scoreline somewhat respectable-ish, but once again, we're out of the cup, because we never win cups. That's just not, it's not something my teams do. The players have got 2 good chances now to restore some of my faith in them. First against Brianza in 17th place, and then against Sassuolo in 18th place. We do okay against Brianza, coming back to win 2-1, but the best thing about that game is AC Milan dropping points to Hellas Verona, which gives us a bit of a cushion in first place. Sassuolo, though, are brushed aside with a 5-1 victory, which means it's now time for Champions League action against Atletico Madrid, and I won't lie, I'm not feeling confident about this at all. But it actually turns out to be a pretty even game. Baidu puts Atletico ahead before Daniel Williams pops up with an equaliser 5 minutes later. It finishes 1-1, so it's still all to play for in the return leg. Before the return leg, though, we draw 3-3 with Atalanta in the league. It's a very difficult match, and we don't really deserve to win it, which is borne out by the fact that we didn't. Time for the return leg against Atletico Madrid, and this one is bonkers. Williams scores, putting us 2-1 up on aggregate. It's then 2-0 on the night and 3-1 on aggregate after Connor Winks scores. Williams gets himself another, putting us in a commanding 4-1 aggregate lead. Amaradion gets one back, making it 4-2, but then Kusiaser pops up with a hat-trick, and the game finishes 7-2 on aggregate and 6-1 on the night. That is a frankly ridiculous performance. We've absolutely decimated them. The only downside really is a month-long injury for Calafiori, and with Janicek also out with flu, we're a little light in the centre of defence. So at the end of a very good February, we're 6 points clear at the top of the league and through to the last 16 of the Champions League, where we'll be playing Arsenal. So that'll be fun. That'll be fun. There's another Manager of the Month award win for me in February, and if I don't win Manager of the Year, I'm calling shenanigans. March starts with a good 3-1 win against Udinese. The goals coming from Connor Winks, Guegan, and Kusiaser. Annoyingly, AD Bachelor has now picked up an injury, and he joins Janicek, Pellegrini, and Calafiori on the physios table. Basically means we have almost no back line for this game against Arsenal. In happier news, AC Milan lose their game, which means we're 9 points clear of both them and Inter in the league. So, Arsenal in the Champions League, and we've got no defence. This is going to be fun. Absolutely fun. Nothing much happens until the 72nd minute when Joris Chotard opens a scoring. Isaacson doubles a lead a minute later before Kusiaser and Daniel Karabek round off an incredible 4-0 win. We had 6 shots on target, 4 of them were goals. That is clinical. We beat Catanzaro 2-0 next, and AC Milan drop points to Udinese, which puts us in an even stronger position going into this last run of games. Arsenal are all over us in the second leg of the Champions League game. There's 2 goals in the second half from Odegaard and Lucas have me sweating before Connor Winks fluffs one into the net, and then Guegan levels the score on the night. Kusiaser puts us in the lead, and the tie finishes 7-2, which means that we've won both of our 2 previous Champions League games 7-2, which is frankly incredible. And it also means that we set a new Champions League goal scoring record. But I mean, what? What? We weren't even meant to be in this competition. We smash Como in the next league game, but there's a minor disaster with Kusiaser picking up a knock that will keep him out for a month or so. It means we won't have him against Man City, who we've been drawn against in the Champions League. Napoli are brushed aside 5-0, maintaining our 9-point lead at the top of the league. We do pick up another injury though, this time Nicolo Ravella is out for a few weeks. The first half against Man City in the Champions League is nothing to write home about, but we do edge the second half. Kyle Granger puts City ahead before Quentin Leonard equalises. Vanya, on as a late sub, puts us ahead with 15 minutes to go, and we hold on for the win, which I think marks the first time in the whole of FM24 that I've beaten Man City. It's the return leg straight after, and Leonard puts us 1-0 up before grabbing a second just before half-time, and that is all she wrote. It finishes 2-0, 4-1 on aggregate, which means we've now beaten City twice, and we're into the semi-final of the Champions League, the semi-bloody final of a competition we weren't supposed to be in, that we snuck into. The Champions League English Tour edition continues in the semi-final as we're drawn against Liverpool. Those games are sandwiched into our tough league fixtures, so we'll be playing Liverpool twice, Roma, Inter, and Juventus, one after the other, which is brutal. We squeak past Salernitana, bloody Liradon Tartaraj, who is our player on loan there, scores their goal. Come on, mate. But we then absolutely destroy Parma 6-1 with Daniel Williams bagging himself a hat-trick. Our next game against Genoa is another dominating performance. Connor Winks scores early, followed by Quentin Leonard. Jonah Kusiaser finishes the scoring with a goal in the first half and then one late in the second. And with that win, we've qualified for next season's Champions League. Even better is that AC Milan drop points to Salernitana, which means with 15 points to play for, we're 11 points clear at the top of the table. Here we go then. Liverpool. Champions League semi-final, and with 15 minutes on the clock, Liverpool have a chance from the spot, but Magalhaes pulls off an excellent save. They do burst through our defence and go one up shortly afterwards. We aren't in the match at all until the 80th minute when Chotard equalises, and then with only our 3rd attempt on target, Kusiaser puts us in the lead in the 89th minute. It's an incredible turnaround. You only have to look at the stats for this game to see how little we deserve to win it. AC Milan win their game against Genoa, which puts the pressure on us to get a result against Roma in the derby. We give away another early penalty, but it's saved again, this time by Koneshi. It's another game that we've not really turned up for, but Connor Winks puts us 1 up just before half-time. Casillas hits the post early in the second half, and Roma grab an equaliser not long after. It's been a poor game, and we're lucky not to lose. The gap is now down to 9 points. Second leg of the Champions League semi-final, we're at home with a slender 2-1 advantage, but 45 seconds into the match, it's a 3-1 advantage thanks to Quentin Leonard. Casillas makes it 4-1, and we're bloody amazing. I'm just going to say it, we're amazing. There is a bit of a problem in the second half. Our keeper picks up a knock, and we have no subs left, so we're down to 10 men, and we have a defender in goal. Koopmeiners pulls one back to Liverpool, but even with 10 men, we're still in control, and Daniel Williams gets us a goal late on, making it 5-2 on aggregate, and we are through to the final of the Champions League against AC Milan. I tell you what, nobody can say that we had an easy route to the final, though. We played Atletico Madrid, Arsenal, City, Liverpool. That is a tough run of games. We've had tough runs of games before, but that is something else. Fiorentina do us a massive favour, beating AC Milan 1-0, which means we only need a draw away to Inter to secure the title. There is absolutely nothing going on in this game until the 88th minute when we get a penalty. This is to win it, and Vanya misses. He makes up for it with an assist for Kusiaser, but Inter equalise immediately. The game finishes 1-1, but it doesn't matter because a draw was all we needed. Lazio are Serie A champions for the first time in 30 years, and I did it. Me. I'm shit at this game, and I won it. Me. That's... Fiorentina have turned out to be a bit of a bogey team for AC Milan because they lose the cup final to them as well, which means that if we beat them in the Champions League, AC Milan will have won nothing all season. We finish our league campaign with a 2-1 win against Juventus, a 5-1 win against Fiorentina, and a 3-0 win against relegated Cagliari. And now, it's time for the Champions League final, which is, according to this, Lazio's first ever Champions League final, which is nice. Nervous? Yeah, no, maybe. We get off to an excellent start with Ravella putting us ahead in the 10th minute, but then there's an own goal from Daniel Karabek for the equaliser. But then there's absolutely nothing going on in the second half until this. I mean, what is that pass? What is that pass? I knew it as soon as the highlight started. I just knew it. I mean, it's a cracking effort on goal, to be fair, but AC Milan win it 2-1, and I'm gutted. Absolutely gutted. Still, we won the league, which isn't nothing. It's not nothing at all. It's our first league title in this worst journeyman on the planet save. Nothing can take that away. I mean, look at this season. There's so much green on that fixture list. 94 points, 117 goals scored, and I do win the Manager of the Year award, which I think is only fair. Connor Winks has to buy a bigger trophy cabinet, winning Serie A Player of the Year, the best player of the season, and the best under-23 player. AD Bachelor wins best defender, and Daniel Williams wins best striker. The club itself is voted best club of the year, so, you know, we can't really complain, but that pass was so bad. We could have been Champions League winners. Fine, it's fine, whatever, I'm already over it. Ending of this is shot, clearly, in a bit of a different way. I'm recording this bit way later than I recorded all the other bits, pretty much because I wasn't really sure what the hell I was going to do. I was umming and ahhing about continuing the save on, because, you know, we've won the league, but we didn't win the Champions League, we never won the Italian Cup, blah, 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 blah. And when I recorded all that stuff, the delay hadn't yet come out about FM25, I don't think. So I was all sort of gearing up, ready to do FM25, and now that's moved, and that's coming out in March. It's currently December, or very nearly December when I'm recording this. Yeah, and I wasn't really sure what I was going to do, so I took a little bit of time to think about it, and I've decided that I'm kind of done with FM24. I think I've played it now. It's been a year, literally now that I've been playing it, and I feel like I've done it. So this is the end of the worst journeyman on the planet. It wasn't too bad overall. We won a league in the end. We won Serie A, very, very nice. Didn't win much else, if anything. I got Manager of the Year, you know, not too bad. But yeah, I'm done with FM24. I've completed it, finished. I think FM24 generally has been a bit of a weird one for me, so I took 6 months out right in the middle of it. Its life has been extended beyond its normal life by Sports Interactive and the delay to FM25. Yeah, it's just been a bit of a strange FM cycle for me, this one. Hopefully FM25 will be better. But that's pretty much all I had to say. Thank you very much for watching this video. Thank you for watching the series overall. Let me know down in the comments if you enjoyed it overall, this video and this series. All that YouTuber stuff. And yeah, I will see you back here very, very soon. Ish. I say very, very soon. It's going to be about 4 months, isn't it? See you back here in about 4 months' time for FM25, or whatever I end up deciding to do for that. I've got no bloody idea. In the meantime, I am going to be uploading over on Fairly Determined Gaming. I'm working on the editing for the first one of that. I say editing, it's not there's not a lot of editing to do for it. But yeah, that's coming out soon. So if you're not subscribed, head over there and subscribe to that, and there'll be videos on there soon as well of me playing other games that aren't Football Manager. Bit of a weird ending to the video. We won the league. Let's concentrate on that and how awesome that is. And I'll see you very, very soon for some more Football Manager stuff. All the best. Cheers. Bye. Oh, have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and all that stuff. Bye.